is pursuing transformative action to ensure its advancement as a modern, cohesive, and prosperous state. According to Dr. the Honorable Karen Cummings, Minister of Foreign Affairs, this is being done through the implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the SDGs. This forms part of the minister's remark during the general debate on the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Welcome to InfoHub Extended. On this program, we take a look back at the minister's appearance at the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York.
Are you ready to embark on a truly epic adventure to an undiscovered corner of South America, where some of the most spectacular natural attractions are unveiled within a beautifully diverse landscape? From the wetlands and savannas to the ancient mountains, magnificent waterways and lush and enriching rainforest would provide a vast playground for some of the most exotic and breathtaking creatures on the planet, including many of the world's giant species. This untouched land of mystery and wonder serves up an exclusive experience for travelers. So are you ready for a new, awe-inspiring adventure? Welcome back to nature. Welcome to Guyana.
The Honourable Minister told the United Nations General Assembly that Guyana has incorporated the Sustainable Development Agenda into its National Development Strategy, the Green State Development Strategy GSDS Vision 2040. She explained that the Green State Development Strategy is Guyana's roadmap to becoming a green state.
It emphasizes the protection of our environment, enhancing prosperity and social cohesion, and laying the foundation for the involvement of every citizen in sustaining a low-carbon trajectory of growth that is inclusive, diversified, and climate resilient.
Minister Cummings would go on to explain that as a low-lying coastal state, Guyana is particularly vulnerable to climate impacts. She said, indeed, the country understood well the risk posed by climate change, as there was daily evidence of this in damage to the coastal zone, frequency of flooding in the hinterland, and extreme meteorological events.
Guyana ranks highly among countries most vulnerable to natural disasters, and this compels urgency on our part to institute adaptation and disaster risk reduction measures.
The Honourable Minister noted, however, that beyond merely responding as an affected country, Guyana has long committed to exercising leadership in pursuing actions to help mitigate anthropogenic climate change.
Guyana has established the importance of global environment services provided by our natural resources and under the Paris Agreement on Climate Change. We have taken ambitious national action, particularly in partnership with Norway, that we trust will continue to resonate positively and globally. These actions include the creation of a greenhouse gas inventory, the integrating of climate change into the academic curricula, and the Greening of Tongues initiative.
Minister Cummings told the UN 74th session that the recent report on the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has reaffirmed that the agreed goals for carbon emissions laid out in the Paris Accord are not sufficient to slow the rate of global warming, and additional reductions are now required to slow and reverse impacts of climate change.
I take this opportunity to underscore, Mr. President, that the existential threat posed by climate change demands the urgent effort of all actors. We therefore applaud the fruitful discussions and positive momentum generated by Climate Action Summit held last Monday. Mr. President, our experience has shown that whether in combating climate impacts, expanding economic benefits, or consolidating democratic norms, extreme vigilance is required to safeguard hard-earned and cherished gains. Indeed, they must be attended with great care to avoid reversals.
On Guyana's own economic growth, the minister reported that the country has been among the highest in the region for several years, resulting in the country now being classified a high middle-income country. However, even in spite of this, difficulties still remain.
Graduation has not caused many of the persistent difficulties to disappear, but has reinforced the need, in the face of greater constraints in access to concessional resources, for fiscal prudence and stability to achieve our core national objectives, including the continued reduction of the burden of poverty and the provision of increased and equitable access to all basic social services, particularly with respect to education and health for all our citizens. This reality constrains us to be very studied in our approaches, and we reiterate the call criteria that takes vulnerability into account to be integrated in determining development progress.
Speaking about Guyana's political realm, Minister Cummings noted that the country has a strong, compelling record of achievements at the national and international levels. Much progress, she reported, has been made in consolidating democratic norms and the rule of law.
The rights and freedoms of all citizens are respected. Here again, it is evident that a considerable progress realized under the coalition government cannot be taken for granted. Since coming to office, local and regional elections held in abeyance for more than 2 decades have been held twice within 4 years. Guyana has responded generously to the influx of men, women, and children who have left our western neighbor, Venezuela, in recent times, and equally to CARICOM states that have been impacted by unprecedented natural disasters.
The minister also told the 74th session of the UN General Assembly that in response to the interplay of developments in the democratic exercise of the parliamentary and legislative arms of the government, President David Granger has announced that national and regional elections will be held on the 2nd of March 2020 to ensure the democratic renewal of governance in Guyana.
Guyana stands on the verge of becoming a new oil-producing nation, with its attendant significant opportunities and challenges. Extensive preparation is underway to guarantee the responsible management of the new resources.
On Guyana's future, the Foreign Affairs Minister relayed to the UN General Assembly President Granger's Decade of Development Plan for all Guyanese. The plan, she said, will focus on ensuring that all Guyanese can enjoy a good life, especially through enhanced educational outcomes at all levels and the promotion of gender equality and the empowerment of women, including the challenge of domestic violence.
Guyana's focus on education is rooted in our conviction that our people are our greatest asset. And as leaders, we have an obligation to develop the capacity of our human resources in an inclusive manner.
The Honourable Minister then urged greater collaboration among member states to devise strategies to achieve quality education for all. Equally important, she added, were the health of nationals.
Guyana has therefore welcomed the convening of the high-level meeting on universal health coverage under the profound theme, Moving Together to Build a Healthier World. The importance of enhanced access to essential health services, including a skilled health workforce and access to safe, quality, effective, and affordable medicines and vaccines, is key to having a healthy world population, where all can enjoy the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health, which is self-evident. In this regard, the political declaration on universal health coverage represents an important global consensus on accelerating efforts at all levels to improve health outcomes.
Here in Ghana, the minister noted that government was committed to ensuring that all Guyanese, regardless of their location, have access to health services and that a plan is to be implemented to establish health posts in health centres in all communities to reduce the need for travel over long distances to access healthcare services. On peace and security, Dr. Cummings said Ghana looks forward to the successful conclusion of the ongoing intergovernmental negotiations on Security Council reform in order to ensure greater effectiveness, representation, and legitimacy. Speaking on the Ghana-Venezuela border matter before the world's highest court, Guyana also took the opportunity to record its disappointment at the limited progress toward a two-state solution to the generational conflict between the people of the State of Israel and the State of Palestine, and similarly, events in Myanmar that have led to the displacement and suffering of the Rohingya population.
The international community must take the necessary steps to ensure the safety of the affected populations and a minimum of respect for their human rights. We applaud the efforts of Bangladesh within its capacity to provide, with the assistance of international agencies, a place of safety for the refugee population pending their return. In our own region, we again joined the overwhelming majority of member states of the international community in calling for the removal of the trade and economic embargo against our sister Caribbean nation of Cuba, which is a serious impediment to the legitimate aspirations of the Cuban people for improvement in their material well-being and to their achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals.
The opportunity was also taken to reaffirm Ghana's commitment to the disarmament agenda of the United Nations as central to the organization's efforts to achieve a stable, secure, and peaceful world order. The landmark Treaty for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, TPNW, is now among those instruments that Ghana has ratified, and the country remains supportive of all efforts that would lead to its timely entry into force. Ghana, through its Foreign Affairs Minister, is encouraging the embrace of this treaty by other states. Minister Cummings completed her presentation by stating that, as is evident, no doubt, Ghana remains a firm believer in the value of multiculturalism. As a small, vulnerable, developing state, Ghana sees the United Nations in its ideals and practice as its best expression. That was Dr. the Honorable Karen Cummings, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, presentation at the general debate of the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly. That has been InfoHub Extended. Thanks for watching. Do join us again. Goodbye.
Are you ready to embark on a truly epic adventure to an undiscovered corner of South America, where some of the most spectacular natural attractions are unveiled within a beautifully diverse landscape? From the wetlands and savannas to the ancient mountains, magnificent waterways and lush enriching rainforest would provide a vast playground for some of the most exotic and breathtaking creatures on the planet, including many of the world's giant species. This untouched land of mystery and wonder serves up an exclusive experience for travellers. So are you ready for a new, awe-inspiring adventure? Welcome back to nature. Welcome to Guyana.